It's bad. Anime.
All right, I'm up. I guess. Cool.
Yeah, I'm up too. Awake that.
Oh no, I meant throbbing erection. Oh no, we're recording, aren't we?
Come guzzler. Come guzzler. Hello, everybody. I'm John.
And I'm slightly disappointed we used that bit. Just kidding, I'm Rob.
And this is Bad Anime, the podcast where we decide, is this anime bad? Okay, and today, we're going to be talking about something that goes by many names.
Well, yeah,
right?
There's fucking 3 official titles for this, and
There's so many names.
but if you're like us and are using Crunchyroll in North America or wherever you are globally, the title you'll know it as is Gunbuster 2, so which is probably what we're going to call this episode. Even though,
Yeah, we'll go with that. I
even
think,
though
like,
it's very
yeah.
prominently called Diebuster, because Diebuster is what's used in the actual program itself and in the insert, which me and Bouncy
I
just
was
did a
gonna say-
spectacular cover of, by the way.
I was going to say, even like the show itself calls itself Diebuster, but then when I look at it, it says Gunbuster 2. So,
Or there's the actual Japanese title, which the rough translation is, because the original Gunbuster, the original title in Japanese was roughly Aim for the Top. That was the translation.
oh, yes,
And
I
this
think
is-
I read
and
about that too.
And this is called, like, the official title for this is kind of Aim for the Top 2. So, I don't know.
Okay. So, it's Gunbuster 2. We're calling it Gunbuster 2.
It's Gunbuster
except
2.
for when we do the Diebuster, which we will do at least 3 more times, I'm sure.
I feel like it's the biggest earworm in this show.
It is. It was. I told you before we were recording, but it was legitimately my favorite part of every episode. And I was so sad in the second half where they just dropped it completely and just
Yeah.
did the title cards and no singing. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, and
of course, like people were dying and it was a very serious situation. So I guess not the best time to come in and be like, Diebuster, but it would have been really
It
fun.
would have been funny as hell, though. But that's the thing. This was Studio Gainax being Studio Gainax, because the whole reason this was created apparently was for a 20th anniversary of Gainax.
Yep.
Very similar to Kamen Rider Black Sun, which we just covered, which is the 50th anniversary of Rider.
Right.
So we have one of these tributes. And this
Yeah.
is just very interesting to me in particular because of who directed this thing. Because originally it was Hideaki Anno who directed Gunbuster. Now
Yes.
we have his protege, and let me just make sure I still got the name here. Yes, Kazuya Tsurumaki
okay.
directed this bad boy. Tsurumaki has a few credits that mean something to me. He directed episode 25 of Eva, so I'm like, okay.
Just that one, huh?
I think that's the only one he had full directorial credit for. He has a co-credit on the end of Eva, and
Wow.
I think all the rebuilds.
Wow. All signs point to this guy being one sick fuck, huh?
Well, I mean, if you're learning from Anno, what are you gonna learn?
What are you gonna learn? Exactly.
You're not gonna get you're not really gonna get a sense of childlike wonder. Well, if you do, it's gonna last 2 episodes, and then
Yeah, and then immediately fall into a feet of depression afterwards.
then everything's gonna turn bleak, bright red, and people are gonna get impaled violently. Once that happened in this series, I'm like, okay, we're back in Eva territory.
Like, here we go. Oh, we were back in Ava territory a lot in this show. I think, like, what was really funny about this one specifically? It being the second Gunbuster, right? I did recall a little bit of the plot of the first Gunbuster. But there were so many moments where I kind of said to myself, oh, this is definitely Studio Gainax.
Yes.
Because like the end, it's so funny. The end of the thing
Yes.
reminded me of the end of every single Gainax anime that I've ever seen. And I was like, oh, was that like, and I was thinking because the end of this Gunbuster 2 aligned with actually the end of Gunbuster 1,
Yes.
which we'll talk about.
Which I love,
a little
and
bit.
it's great.
I thought that was great, but I said to myself, I was like, wait, was that the end of Gunbuster 1, or was that the end of Darling in the Franxx, or was that the end of was that the end of 8? Like, there were so many, or is that the end of Gurren Lagann? Like, there were so many animes that I was like, which one was that? And of course it was the first Gunbuster, but it just reminded me of literally everything they've ever done.
Speaking of Gurren Lagann, that comes up, it reminded, well, there's definitely a lot of parallels between this and Gurren, because this came out like 2 or 3 years before Gurren Lagann, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And you could tell, like, the way Gainax was kind of going with it. You know what I mean? So this is definitely a curious piece of anime history, because even though it was supposed to be a sequel to frickin' Gunbuster, which it was, you saw a lot of elements carry over into Gurren Lagann, and definitely even some of the Gainax staff who eventually left to form Trigger when they did Darling in the Franxx, because you saw a lot of you saw a lot of like early 02 kind of stuff in here. And we had No, who was every anime protagonist at the time.
Yes, and also like
and
very, very similar to very annoying and very similar to the 02 character build without the horns.
Exactly.
Very similar, like the long pink hair and stuff. You had the she had like a sidekick or somebody that was also piloting a gunbuster at the time. Was Taicho or something?
Yes, the little mousy one.
Yes, she was the little bouncy one
who had like probably the best episode of the bunch in episode 3.
She did. She also had she had like weird Rei Ayanami Asuka stuff that she did sometimes. Like she got in like a fetal position once after being defeated or something. And I was like, huh. This smells like.
This is suspicious to me.
I've had that smell before.
This butt's been used. And boy, has it! My God. I was about to go on a 20-minute rant about Ed and Eddie. Thank you for stopping me dead. Ed and Eddie. I shook my head way too violently for that.
Oh, you did. Are you okay?
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Okay, this is you can't avoid this anymore. Like it's like 1:30 in the afternoon. I have a Monster in my hand, so I got those little caffeine little right now. So if I have way more,
and it's a weird time. We usually don't record at this time unless it's on like a. Well, I guess we do record at this time. When do we record? I don't
usually
really
more towards the evenings. Like
towards the evenings,
like when I'm settling down and not getting prepared for my day.
Oh yeah,
and also I won the G1 Climax pool last night, so I am riding high.
You did. You've been having a really good year. You won both Royal Rumble pools earlier this year. You won the G1 Climax. God damn. This is your year.
It's been a very good wrestling year for me, but the G1 scared me a bunch because towards the middle of the tournament I was not looking confident, but a couple of key choices in the bracket saved me. Your bracket was almost perfect.
It was near perfect. I think like my
you
one
had 2
lose
blemishes.
Out was Evil was my lose out in the round of 8.
Yeah.
And then there was somebody else.
Yeah, I think you had Kaito in there, but he didn't make it.
Actually, I didn't have. Oh yes, I had Kaito at the bottom.
Yeah, you had Kaito at second place in A block and had him lose,
which we all did. And then Hikuleo came back and just showed everybody that he's just like.
I mean, it's cool that they're giving Hikuleo something to do. I mean, I just so unexpected. I'm like, sweet.
I thought he would absolutely fuck since the beginning of the tournament because he retired Jay White.
Yeah,
right. So I'm like, okay. He's coming into this G1 like, like fire, big dick Hikuleo. Like, here we go, baby. And he loses to like scrubs in the first 3 matches.
Yeah,
and then he
Chase
just
Owens
beats everybody.
And Gabe Kidd.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chase Owens. God, Chase Owens.
The crown jewel, baby.
The crown jewel of the Bullet Club.
For life. War Dogs.
Well, congrats on your win.
Thank you.
This was 6 episodes.
Oh, and yeah, so I should say, like, in the context of how I watched these episodes, so I got home probably around, like, I was running around all day yesterday, got home and maybe, like, probably, like, 9-something, like, 9 towards 10, maybe towards 9, actually, no, close to 10 o'clock. Got home, just chilled out for a little bit, then I said, I'm gonna crush some baked ZD, have 2 beers, and watch some Gunbuster. I almost said Gurren Lagann. And so I watched it, but I started late. So then by the time I finished, it was 3 a.m. And I'm like, we're already an hour into the G1. So I watched pretty much all the preliminary matches for the so the second half of the prelim card for the G1. Got 20 minutes into Okada Naito, completely fell asleep, and woke up during a Naito celebration. I'm like,
yeah. That's the best way to figure out that you won anything.
Oh yeah, just to be completely asleep for the climax, so you don't have any emotional weight. You just wake up.
Asleep for the climax. I've been there before. I'll tell you what.
Oh, God, I don't even have a follow-up for that. I was like so amped to have like a follow-up. I'm like, yeah, but
yeah, and also
no.
Nothing. No. All right.
No, Didi.
No, Riri. So No is always going on about No Riri.
Yeah.
Who I guess I realized, or I thought was Noriko.
Well, yeah, the one episode, it started out where she actually she was floating in space. Something happened. She before she got found by that some dude, and instead of no Riri, she went no Li Ko, and of course we're supposed to remember that was the main character from Gunbuster. I'm like, it's a lot of, a lot of faith in me, show. A lot of faith in me.
Like, this came out in 2004. The original Gunbuster came out in 1988.
Yeah.
We watched the original Gunbuster maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
And we don't fucking remember what this character's name is. So the entire time she's like, I want to be a great pilot, like Nono Riri. And it's really funny because everybody else in this situation, too, because obviously...
Yeah.
Because it is Nono Riri, and she's been away at space for an entire generation of time.
Yeah.
So nobody knows who she is.
Yeah.
But also, I don't remember who the fuck she is. So everybody on screen and me were the same.
Yeah.
Where we were all like, who are you talking about? And Nono would be like, my hero, Nono Riri. And everybody would be like, what is she
What is she saying?
Whatever. Let me just peel this scratch and sniff sticker off my forehead.
Oh. It smells like undescript powers.
Very undescript, horrendously undescript.
It took me a little while to figure out what they were doing with the whole topless thing because I think topless was just a clumsy translation of like limitless.
Yeah, I think so as well.
You have no max, you have no top, you have no limit. That's what. But of course, it's an excuse for Nono to pop her titties out at least like 4 times.
Which is totally what she did. I think in the first episode, that was something that happened that she was like, what, you're topless? I could be topless too. And then she just ripped out her titties. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. But like, that's funny because if I remember in the original Gunbuster, didn't they also randomly rip out their titties sometimes? Or was that another anime that I'm forgetting?
Oh, I mean, that happens in a lot of these things. But no, I think...
Sure. I mean, like, the part where they, like, specifically rip off the chest cavity of their shirt.
Yeah, no, she, like, it was Noriko in the original. She ripped off a little bit of, like, the, like, a little bit of her costume for some reason. I don't remember why. But I think it had something to do with, like, charging up or, like, she did it for a reason. But that's where the infamous catchphrase, save the world, Papa Titty came out. Save the world.
That's what
Papa
they said.
Titty.
Papa Titty.
When you have to preempt it with save the world, Papa Titty, because even then it's just like, wait, what did you just say?
Excuse me? But I mean, I guess I have to now Papa Titty if it's going to save the world.
But you got to save the world.
You got to save the world.
Save the world.
Papa Titty.
Yeah, that was a theme song from a Super Sentai because I'm cool.
The Super Sentai theme was Save the World, Papa Titty.
No, save the earth, save the lives. Iksoge QQ Sentai Go 5.
Go 5.
Go 5, yeah.
Because there's 5 of them?
Yeah. It was the
nice.
It was the one.
Nice.
It was the one that later became Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue in the United States.
Oh, cool. Where they turn into like cats or something?
No.
Ah.
I'm not even laughing because like they did that a few times. You're probably
I know they did, and I was maybe thinking of one of those.
Wild Force is what you're probably thinking.
Wild Force.
Wild Force. Power Rangers. You know, back when the themes went pop punk for no reason.
Yeah, for like that weird span of time.
Yeah, but I like the weird, like almost like borderline pop thrash metal of the originals.
Yeah, they're fun. Yeah. They're the best for a reason, you know.
Gunbuster.
Gunbuster. Wait, also, since we're talking about, I guess we're vaguely talking about characters.
Sure.
Can we talk about how nobody mattered?
Wow. That was a...
Can we talk about, like, nobody mattered? Like, it was Nono, and it was the Princess Lassie, or Lalsi, or something like that?
Lek, or I don't remember.
Lalsi. It was them two, and kind of just everybody else, and maybe that one character, Taiko, who had one episode.
Yeah.
And... like Nicola, that guy mattered until he tried to sexually assault Nono, and then he just did it.
Then the really fucked up response when the princess said, "Why not me?" It's like,
yeah.
That one was just like
weird.
Well, I mean, it's just terrible writing. that was just badly written. I'm just like, guys,
bad writing.
This is not this. No, if you think this is a thing, you're wrong. No.
I thought so many characters were going to be so important, and they turned out to be not important at all.
I mean, I mean, even in the context of the original Gunbuster, only a few characters mattered, but this is way less than that, even. Because there's other characters who had I don't know. It's also a little weird because we watched the Gunbuster compilation film rather than the full 6-episode series, so we definitely have two different perspectives on these properties. But the Gunbuster movie still had a very tight narrative, and I'm wondering if it cut out a lot of filler because there was some, I don't know. The pacing here wasn't bad, but there were definitely a lot of moments. It had the air of not mattering.
Yeah, there were a lot of things. I felt that there were a lot of kind of strings of plot that, well, I mean, how much can you explain in a 6-episode series? But
it was weird because it was kind of doing the Ava thing where you'd have a lot of downtime, it felt like, and then like a lot of exposition dialogue, which I'll be honest, I didn't pay attention to. Oh
no, went right over my head the whole time. I could not be bothered with it. Because even though I like that stuff, and I was like, I want to know an exposition dump. I need like a few because I don't get fucking anything that's going on in this world. But they did them, but they did them, but I already didn't care.
Yeah.
So I just kind of sat there and took it,
was
and
weird
just didn't
because
really
we had a very
think anything of it.
kind of a simplistic gist here. It's like, hey, the weird robot no girl wants to be a space pilot, and she meets other space pilots, and that's that. She gets the fraternity suit, and which is very reminiscent of Darling in the Franxx, which is very funny because that came out like 12 years later. So
yeah, which is very funny.
Some people who were still with Gainax at the time took it to Trigger and said, "Hey, I've got some source.
Yeah, here's this.
Here's the sauce that's gonna make everyone cry for around 3 days, and everyone's gonna forget about it."
Yeah, let's name our main character Hero.
Yeah, because we just learned what that word means. Oh God.
But yes, to kind of continue your point, there was a lot of weird downtime for expositions, but it's weird because all the exposition dumps were based on things that we already didn't understand.
Yeah.
So, like for example, what were those two serpent twin sisters doing the whole time?
Oh, I have no idea.
See, we just had a bunch of scenes of like Nicola visiting them, and they were just eating, and you're like, who are these weird snake women?
Yeah,
and then they kind of like summoned this original Gunbuster machine, and it showed up, and everyone was like, oh, that's not the original, that's an alien, that's a space monster, and then everybody's like, well, what space monsters were we fighting then?
Yeah,
and they tried.
Yeah.
They tried to do something interesting, but I don't know. It just kind of became Verm.
Yeah, no, it just kind of like, it was the, it was kind of like every later Gainax thing. It became the anti-spiral in fucking Lagann. It's just, it became, poorly executed, like, in Gunbuster too. It's like, who, in the original, was like, who were they fighting? We don't really know.
Who were they fighting?
Yeah, I mean, in Ava, at least it was kind of, it was vague, but you quickly were told, like, hey, this is not the point. But, when in this, the focus was definitely more so on the action and the environment that they were in, because we didn't get those deep character dives here. It was pretty formulaic. Around, like, towards, like, the 20-minute mark, it's like, all right, time for battle again. Let's go fight the monster. Typical, mecha-style stuff. It was fun, but I just wasn't engaged by any of these characters, really. Again, episode 3 was really cool because of, like, the girl, like, it was weird. Like, it seems like episode 3 was the only one they paid attention to detail. But, like, not plot detail, like, character emotion and stuff, where, like, the girl became topless, and she was all excited because she wanted to save her friend who was dying of some illness. Yeah. But she couldn't do it, so she was super upset. But there was a really cool moment here where the girl tried to make a break with her past by throwing, like, because when this kid was dying, he was like making all this stuff out of clay and like resin and just like sculpting stuff. And he sculpted like this like little crescent moon and like these 2 orbs. And this girl, the Taiko, like I forgot her name.
I believe it is Taiko. I don't know if it's pronounced exactly that way.
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah.
Tai Chi.
Yeah, so Tai Chi, she had like the stuff in her ears at one point, in a scene I really like, she threw them away as trying to make a clean break with her past. And like, you are imitating New Japan Pro Wrestling sensation Tai Chi right now.
I'm doing weird microphone Tai Chi right now.
Yep, our holy emperor.
Our holy emperor.
I
Yes.
love him.
I'm sorry. Please continue.
It's going to be him and Sho feuding over the KOPW belt now. Just so you know, they teased that last night in the the 8-man tag between
Wow.
a few of the 5 guys and House of Torture. It was great.
Where has Sho been?
He's running around hitting whoever Evil tells him to hit, and as a member of House of Torture. So it's it's Evil, Sho, Yujiro Takahashi, and Dick Togo. So the most hated faction in Japan right now. It's awesome.
So funny.
But yeah, so she fucking threw the earrings in a scene I really liked, making a break with her.
Oh yeah,
like
that
it was.
good.
I think it was supposed to symbolize her forgiving herself and moving on. And then what's her name? Nono caught them, and that episode weirdly focused on all these kids who wanted it to snow. And
Yeah, it was weird because they were like, "Oh, can you bring that snow from up there down to here?" And they're in like a vestibule that sees the sky.
Yeah,
and Nono's like,
"Those are stars, but they're so
that's
cute.
Stars, but you're really cute. So yes, we will do this."
But yeah, in the final battle, they froze something, and then the fallout of that, all the snow fell down, and so the kids are all happy there's snow around. And Nono makes a tiny little snowman. And she uses the 2 orbs as the eyes for the snowman and the crescent moon as the mouth of the jewelry T threw away. And so she's crying. I guess, I don't know, you could build the symbolism there. Like was, hey, forgive yourself, but don't forget your past. You know what I mean? Because there's a huge difference between the two that people often kind of conflate. At least that's my, fucking interpretation of that scene.
Sure.
But that's kind of fell into the class. Well, the Ava territory more so than Gainax in general.
Yeah.
But then, as the thing went on, I mean, that was like after episode 3, that was kind of like the emotional climax for me because after that, it's just like, yeah, because the princess character wasn't nearly as interesting.
She wasn't, and I really think she should have been.
Yeah.
But she just wasn't.
No.
They just didn't do enough to make her interesting.
No. Wasn't a fan.
It was really weird how Nono was like I've kind of felt it similar to the first Gunbuster with the Noroki Noriko.
Yeah.
The relationship between Noriko and Kazumi, I think, was the other one.
Yeah.
Their relationship, and I thought that it made sense to carry over that female friendship angle that I think Gunbuster has been trying to do.
But it was so weird because Gunbuster 2 didn't really do that.
They didn't. It was very much like a Nono idolizing.
Yes. Princess, whatever.
Princess Lalsi / Onesama.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was kind of this weird dynamic that never got explored.
It was more. It almost felt more like a Shonen Jump anti-hero hero type thing, where it's like the dark edgy one doesn't want anything to do with the bright preppy idiot. You know what I mean?
Yes. So and at the end though, the princess is like, "I love you. You're my friend," and I'm like, where have they bonded?
Exactly.
All this stuff. Show me a scene that she actually felt a connection to Nono in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was just kind of. I mean, I understood it, I guess, because I was like, I get that they're going there, but there's really nothing leading to that point.
It's weird because it felt like this film led you to all the points. Like it kind of felt like this fucking series was left and it was meant for our brains to autocomplete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the feeling I got, which is which can be fun,
I guess,
and can be very interesting depending on the creator. But with this here, these characters really. Just nothing a lot of the time. The weird amount of fan service made me laugh more than anything because there's way more boob and butt than the original.
That was a lot. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's what they're doing this time.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, sure. It was 04, so that thing was starting to become more common, and we even got some of that in the shows. Basically, I'm calling Gurren Lagann its successor because it's not in terms of story, but a lot of the elements carried over into Gurren Lagann directly. So
they did. Yeah.
But yeah, even Gurren Lagann had a decent amount of fan service. Not to this level, obviously, but
yeah, I mean,
but we got a decent amount of fan service here, and it wasn't really. off-putting. It was just weird. I'm like, why are we doing this? It's like the fan service.
Yeah, it's like nothing I wanted.
It's like the fan service in Ava Rebuild where they were like, oh, it's a commentary. I'm like, you're not providing a commentary. You're just doing the thing.
Yeah, you're just doing it.
Yeah, you're just doing the thing.
After Anno said for so many years that, sexual exploitation of like these anime characters is very weird and like you shouldn't be doing it, and he just goes and does it.
Well, but the thing is,
but everybody's like, oh, it's a commentary on what's happening in like the anime industry, but you are the anime industry.
But here's
so
the weird thing here. Remember, the guy really leading the charge on Rebuild, the co-director, was the director of this, so it does add some like perspective here. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, well, let's see. Anno was credited as the chief director, but Tsurumaki was like basically called the director of 1 through 3. And number 2 was the one where the fan service got really out of hand. You know what I mean? So who knows? Maybe this guy has a blame here. I mean, he's Anno's protege, so he can't be a normal cat.
Yeah, I guess I'm just picturing in my mind an image of Anno coming into a room when they did the rebuilds.
Yeah.
And having Tsurumaki in there and Anno just putting his hand out and going, depression, and Tsurumaki putting his hand out and
horny.
Going, but sexy, and then they shake hands. And then Ava Rebuild was made.
Oh my god. If they just called that series Sexy Robot Depression, I'd be so happy.
I would be so happy. Oh, or like sexy animatronic depression so that it acronyms to sad.
Well, that one just conjures like an image in my mind of like a guy who works at like a cross between Chuck E. Cheese and a strip club just being sad at a table. Oh, that sounds like a one-act play.
It does sound like a one-act play. And then Chuck E. Cheese or one of the animatrons coming over and be like, sir, what's wrong? You haven't touched your cheesy dog.
And it's just 20 minutes of this guy having dread and someone with a nice pair of honkity mommy dommies walks by.
And then he's like, oh, horny.
Oh my god.
Depression, but make it sexy.
Depression, but hot?
But hot. And this had no real I don't know. I didn't really get the emotions behind most of the things that they were doing.
Again, I feel like the only one I got emotion out of was episode 3.
Yeah.
Everyone started dying at one point, but at that point, like you said, it just kind of just felt like, oh yeah, Gainax, so
that really reminded me too of Gurren Lagann.
Oh yeah, when everyone started dying randomly.
All the side characters started dying, and I remember very distinctly during our episode, you being like, yeah, and they all died, and I didn't care.
Yeah, exactly. So
that was exactly what happened because there was no build up.
Yeah.
The only one that had any build at all was Taiko, but they just failed to use her for the rest of the show in any meaningful way.
Her after her admittedly good episode,
They basically said, "Oh, you're done.
Yeah,
you're done.
Done.
That's all the character development you get in a lifetime. That's it for you."
I remember there was the great video where it was like Darling and the Franxx in 10 minutes, where after episode 16, like the girl voicing 02 in this parody dub just went, all right, there's my character development for the series. Anybody else up? And everyone just went, me.
That's exactly what happened, though. They just got it out of the way.
What is just so funny that these trends keep repeating. I was about to say tropes, but that's not accurate. Like all these weird production trends keep going within the former Gainax camp. It's a weird bunch.
Yeah, it's a very weird bunch. And I would also like to talk about kind of the ending because there were a lot of different like different groups involved, but like there was like the Empire and like I didn't get any of that shit. I don't know what anybody was trying to do.
There was I remember one scene where they just it was just basically Nerve HQ at one point. I remember seeing
and they were all like sitting in a circle and I was like, this is Nerve. Yeah. This is what is it? Seele.
Yeah.
And it was the Seele like setup, and I was like, or like whatever it was in fucking Darling and the Franxx, it was like Chimp or something. I don't remember.
I think it was Chimp
or
and
Ape. Ape.
It was Ape and then Verm.
Ape.
Who the fuck is Verm?
Who is Verm? Yeah, this show vermed a little bit, but the ending Well, they tried. Well, okay. The princess was able to somehow, in like the Battle of Titan, it was called, in like episode 4 or 5, was able to move Jupiter 2. Yes, the second Jupiter. She was able to move a planet
because
with
they blew up
her-
the first
with her-
Jupiter and fucking Gunbuster.
Exactly.
And then they were
With her-
they were about to use Earth as a bomb at one point.
And they almost did. I think they
almost
were
did,
supposed to.
But what's her name? Nono, because at this point, Nono got the same power that 02 got, where she was the gigantic robot waifu.
Yes, big robot waifu, big humanoid robot waifu.
Yeah, the only difference is where 02 was a unicorn. Nono was not. But no,
yeah.
Nono just like stopped Earth, and then she just kind of said, "I got it," and then she just kind of sacrificed herself, and then like the baddie was defeated. She looked like a number of flame type Pokemon that I've seen in the past from later generations.
She did.
Yeah, so.
She had the also the enemy they were fighting was like the space monster or one of like a space monster. Every time it came out of like a hole, like a black hole, it made this like very, very similar to like a woman screaming sound. And every time it did, I just kept looking around my house and I was like, who's screaming?
Exactly. It sounded like a mixture between that and the Godzilla roar. Like
yes, very, very similar.
Yeah, so they they definitely had that in there, which was very interesting. Yeah, and like these things were like they kept referring to them as like fluctuating gravity wells or something like that. At one point, it was you just gave the most dismissive look. You were like, I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking know. Like I think this like there's a lot of things that they threw at us.
Yeah.
Where at first, like within the first like 3 or 4 episodes, I said to myself, "Oh, okay, I don't get it, but let me see if I can understand it." By episode 5 and 6, they could say fucking anything. They could say anything, and I would be like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't understand anything that's going on. The world building is so strange.
They didn't do a whole lot.
They just didn't do it. I mean, it's hard enough that like all of the Gunbuster names were so dumb and long. Yeah. And like the only one that I remember because it has dicks in it was Dick Snuff.
But the way she pronounced it, it almost sounded like Dick Sniffu. It's like, what?
Dick Sniff.
It sounded like
Dick Sniff.
It legitimately sounded like she was saying Dick Sniffu, and I'm like, what? Someone's sniffing some dick?
Someone's sniffing dick? Why didn't you call me?
It's Saturday night.
What am I doing over here?
Let me unlock the basement door.
I'm just sniffing my own dick over here. just like an idiot.
Just rubbing your hands, give it a big whiff, like, haven't showered in 4 days.
I'm from San Francisco.
Ew. Wow. Okay, so I think we're making our opinions on this one pretty clear.
Yeah, I think we are too. I think there was one last thing that I wanted to hit on before we got to our final thoughts, but
okay.
I really can't remember what it was. But yeah, so why don't we get to our final thoughts?
Maybe
I'll jog my
I like
memory
the
in there.
music. I'll say that.
Oh, that's what it was. I like the music, and the art was artin. It was very Gainax art.
Yes.
Like, it was good. The animation I thought was great. When they blew the budget, they really blew the budget.
Well,
and it
here's
was
the thing.
good.
Some of the animation looks spotty as hell because
I think more towards the beginning it looked spotty.
Yes, and even some weird parts in the middle because for some reason I took a note on this specifically because there are some scenes where it looked like characters were very much on top of the background instead of in the background. Instead of like, it looked like they were pasted on top. It looked like, I don't know what the fuck the technical term is for it, but I can relate it to music when like the mix is off.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it looked like literally characters were pasted on the screen ahead of the background instead of existing in this world. Some of the shots looked like they were green screened in. It was very strange. It happened a couple of times. To the
Interesting.
point, it wasn't a lot, but once it happened the first time, I kept my eye out for it. And it only may have been like 4 or 5 instances in the whole course of the show, but still, the animation here, and again, mid 2000s to early 2000s sometimes looked terrible. And the beginning episodes especially, this was a problem because sometimes like the color palettes in these things were very drab to me. Like they're like, if you look in episode 1 of this one in particular, there's a weird gray overtone to a lot of it.
It's like gray and like a dark green.
It's like
kind of overtone.
Dulled. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's very dulled.
It's like the whole Ghost Stories, School Days vibe, where it's like everything was like weirdly gray and dull and lifeless. You had that a little bit in here in some points too. So I can't give the show overwhelming praise for the animation and art style here just because of that. So what looked good. But also, this is coming from a guy who's not really into the mid-2000s stuff. It just looks weird to me a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, the things that look the best were the space scenes to me.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
When they were,
You
like,
tell
fighting in space and like the combat, like that was the big stuff.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the spot that they really tried their best, and it looked very good. I will say that. But yeah, no, some of the minor stuff, not. Honestly, at that point, I'm like, just when you don't have the money, cut to a background and let the voice actors go nuts. It's what it worked for Ava. You know what I mean?
Yep. For
save
sure.
money when you need to.
Yep.
But yeah, the music in this I really liked because it definitely invoked a lot of like the live action monster movie stuff that a lot of Anno soundtracks do. A lot of Gainax stuff does because I think it's just Anno likes that kind of stuff. I mean,
yeah, it's very cinematic.
Very very monster movie esque. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times it feels like Godzilla coming out of the ocean. Very dramatic.
Right.
You could tell because Anno just did not that Anno did this, but like anyone who was touched by him in a creative sense. Because Anno literally just finished a Godzilla movie, a Ultraman movie, and a Kamen Rider movie.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
He loves his live action stuff, and the only thing that really carries over is the music from all those really carry over to all his animated works. And funny enough, there's another thing I wanted to note on. In 2004, while this was being made, Anno was busy making the live action Cutie Honey movie, which was also a Studio Gainax production.
Oh, I'd love to see both sides of that office in 2004.
Oh my god, it would have been crazy. But you could like see a little bit of Cutie Honey and No just in terms of like the ditziness.
Yeah, sure.
Ditzy, you know, and also she's a cyborg, so with pink hair.
that too. That too. That actually does work.
Pink hair, ditzy cyborg, you know, who's fighting off, you know, a weird enemy. You know, there's an interbleeding going on here.
Yeah, and I don't know what were your thoughts? Like, I guess like maybe I can ask you the question.
Sure.
Was it bad? Because we spent a lot of this time shitting on it, and we pointed out some bright points. I think like the brightest point for me was just non-ironically, but the ending when you realized that like the first people from the first Gunbuster were coming back, and I was like, actually, that's pretty awesome. I like that tie-in that they did.
I loved the ending because I love the ending of the original Gunbuster, and them to take their real time to say like it also just gives context to who lit up the giant sign like saying "Welcome home," like you know.
Yeah.
And you learn the princess's personal reason behind it, having that connection with No, who really wanted Gunbuster 1 and 2 to come home. So that was really cool to see. I really dug that.
Yeah.
Dug episode 3, some of the art, some of the music. However, as a 6-episode experience, completely inessential viewing. I don't think Gunbuster is necessary by any means, but I enjoyed the fact that I saw it. I enjoyed parts of this, but did I need it? Absolutely not. And the faults here were just a little too mounting for me to say it was good. I gotta go bad with this one. 6 episodes didn't do a whole lot for me, and I could have never saw this. I think this was kind of just not. Well, it wasn't what it could have been. Disappointed, and I gotta call it a bad viewing experience.
Yeah, I'm usually not extremely harsh on things, I feel like. And
you are not at first, and then we'll talk about it 2 months later. You'll be very harsh, and then you'll correct yourself in all our season wrap ups because you've already talked to me about a few things reviewed. You said fuck this show, and I'm like, you said it wasn't bad, or in one case you said you liked the show, and you're like, no, fuck it. I'm like, really? What happened?
Wow. But I'm trying to get more real time with my thoughts and opinions here, so that I don't like maybe dwell on them as much. I mean, opinions change over time, sure.
Well, of course, we're humans. We're humans.
Yes. But I think this one, I will also say it's bad.
Good.
I'm going to go bad.
Nice.
I think because they tried really hard to capture my attention, and they didn't. They just didn't. Like, there's like barely anything. I liked the ending. The animation was cool in parts. Other than that, like there was really nothing fun or exciting or
No.
fascinating about this that I maybe haven't already seen in a Gainax production. And like maybe that's on me. If like I watched this in 2004 at this age, maybe I would have a different opinion of it. But there's just
we
so
can't,
much
we can't do
other
that. Yeah.
stuff that's just been out there, that's been done like this, and that
Yeah.
Gainax has done like this. Like I mentioned before, like the ending, even the ending, my favorite part of the series, when the two pilots are coming back like after traveling through space for like.
And they use the same
billions
credit
of
font as they did in the
eons.
original Gunbuster, which is cool.
They did.
But yeah.
They did, which is cool.
But like, I would...
That's a thing that I saw in Darling in the Franxx. That's a thing. Like, it's just like traveling through space, meandering until you get home or something.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And like, I don't know. I didn't need more Gunbuster.
Yeah, no, I didn't need more. I think it was perfectly fine.
Exactly.
As a like self-contained thing, and even the self-contained original Gunbuster, I thought it was fine. Like I didn't like love it particularly.
I didn't love it, but I still
it.
think that one was a good viewing experience. Again,
it was better. It was much better than this.
Oh yeah, that's beyond reproach. That is.
It was just bloated in all the wrong directions, and it just kind of kept building stories for nothing.
Yeah.
It like often started threads that it could not finish.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of ended. And I didn't have to see it. It was it's kind of a waste of time, honestly. I think it was quite a waste of time. If not for the podcast, like I would not recommend anybody watch this, honestly.
No, yeah. If you're a hardcore Gainax fan, that's the only people I could recommend this to. If you're a hardcore Gainax nut, because you might.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you're a hardcore Gainax head, just watch the original Gunbuster and you're good.
Yeah, I think do that. And if you do love Studio Gainax's stuff, I can recommend this to you, but I don't think I could recommend it to you as like you'll love this. It's more like this is a fun little thing for you.
Exactly.
Like, this is something
it has fun parts.
You can watch.
Yeah.
That you may think about other things while watching.
Yeah. No. Just nah.
Just no. Yeah. No, thank you.
Bye.
No, re-re.
No, re-re. No,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's bad.
Wow, oh my god, what a rousing podcast of anime conversation. Am I right, my compares? Am I right, my weebdom? Anywho, yeah, you can send us a message if you want. Did you like this podcast? Did you hate this podcast? Do you want to kill me? Do you want to drench me in Calaxosaur blood and watch me drink it? That's fine. Just send us an email at badanimepod@gmail.com or DM us on our Instagram at badanimepod, all one word. You can also find us on YouTube as Bad Anime, and you could leave a comment on whatever video you want to leave a comment on. We'll read them all anyways. We don't care. I love you. Kiss, kiss.
Simple Equations Podcast Network.